You're not here by accident. You saw the title, you clicked. Something in you knows that where you are right now is not where you want to be 5 years from now. So let's stop pretending. Let's stop scrolling. Let's stop waiting. Because the truth is brutal, and it's this. One choice right now will define your next 5 years. Not someday, not next week, not when life slows down, right now. Pause, breathe, let that land. Now, I know maybe you're overwhelmed, tired, unsure of what that choice is. Let me make it simple. It's the choice to take responsibility for your life, fully, totally, relentlessly. It's the moment you stop blaming your past, your job, your parents, the economy, or even time itself, and you say, no more. I'm in charge now. You've got 5 years ahead of you either way. The question is, are you going to be the architect of those 5 years or the victim of your habits? That one choice ownership changes everything. Once you own your time, your focus, your mindset, and your energy, you stop reacting and start creating. You might think your next 5 years will be decided by your job, your relationships, the economy, luck, or timing. But none of that is true. The trajectory of your life changes the moment you make one choice. And that choice is to take full responsibility for where you are and where you're going. It's easy to blame circumstances. It's easy to say, if only I had more support, or if I hadn't gone through that, or I'm just not the kind of person who can do that. But all of those are distractions. They feel true, but they don't move you forward. The truth, you are the only one who can change your life. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to push you. No one owes you clarity, confidence, or the perfect moment. Responsibility means you stop outsourcing your future to chance. It means that starting now, you accept that your choices, your actions, and your mindset are the root of your results, not your parents, not your boss, not your past. You decide if you go to the gym or scroll your phone. You decide if you open your mouth and speak or stay silent and small. You decide if today is the day you keep living on autopilot or take one step towards something better. Taking full responsibility isn't about guilt or shame. It's about power. Because once you realize that your life is yours to direct, you take the wheel back, you stop drifting and start driving. Every excuse drops dead in the face of responsibility. And when you own your outcomes, you start making decisions that reflect the future you want, not the comfort you crave. This is the one choice that flips the switch. You can make it today in a second, and it changes everything. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, what you're really doing is choosing to stay exactly where you are. That delay, that tiny pause that feels harmless, it's not harmless. It's a decision to stall your progress, a decision to hand the steering wheel to fear, doubt, or comfort. Most people think inaction is neutral. It's not. Inaction is active, it's powerful, and it builds momentum in the wrong direction. The longer you wait, the heavier the resistance gets, the harder it becomes to move, the more comfortable you get with settling. You think you're buying time, but what you're really doing is spending your future. You are trading years of potential, growth, fulfillment for one more day of hesitation. And that hesitation doesn't disappear, it grows, it infects everything. You start hesitating on your health, your goals, your relationships, your dreams. Before you know it, 5 years have passed, and you're still stuck in the same place with the same excuses, having the same conversations in your head. The people who create the life they want, they understand this. They know that waiting is a trap. They don't wait for permission, for perfect timing, or for confidence. They act. And that action, however small, becomes the spark that leads to change. Every day you wait is a vote for the life you don't want. Every day you hesitate is a step away from the version of you that's trying to emerge. The life you dream of is not built by feelings. It's built by decisions. And the most damaging decision of all is the one you keep putting off. You've got 5 years ahead of you, no matter what. They're going to pass whether you take action or not. Whether you grow or stay the same, whether you build something or let it all blur together in a loop of comfort and distraction, time doesn't wait for clarity. It doesn't slow down because you're unsure. It just keeps moving relentlessly, quietly, and without your permission. So the real question is, who do you want to be when those 5 years are up? Because 5 years from now, you're going to wake up and you'll either be proud of the choices you made or regret the ones you didn't. Every small habit you build, every hard decision you make, every uncomfortable step you take, those are the bricks. And 5 years from now, you'll either be standing inside a life you intentionally built, or you'll still be sitting in the rubble of the one you kept saying you'd fix soon. You are always building something. Even when you think you're doing nothing, you're reinforcing patterns, you're hardwiring avoidance, you're making the groove deeper. So don't kid yourself. Choosing not to act is still a choice, and that choice still compounds. The next 5 years are not some distant, abstract future. They are already happening right now with what you do today, with how you think, how you speak to yourself, and whether or not you decide to push through one more excuse. You can either let the next 5 years be something that just happens to you, or you can decide right now that they will be the most intentional, driven, transformative years of your life. But either way, they're coming. The difference is whether you shape them or let them shape you. Motivation is a lie, at least the way most people think about it. You keep waiting to feel ready, to feel excited, clear, confident, but that feeling doesn't come when you need it. It shows up after you act, not before. That's the trap. You've been taught to wait for a feeling that's not designed to show up until you've already moved. Think about it. How many times have you sat around waiting for inspiration to strike, for the right moment to arrive? How often have you told yourself, asterisk, I'll start when I feel motivated, asterisk? And where has that gotten you? Still waiting, still stuck. Successful people don't rely on motivation. They know it's unreliable. They know it's fleeting. They know it's a nice bonus if it shows up, but they don't need it to start. They start anyway. They move first, they make the call, they show up to the workout, they start the project. They say yes. And you know what happens? Action triggers momentum. Momentum generates energy. Energy creates clarity. And all of a sudden, motivation kicks in. After you've proven to yourself that you're serious, the secret is simple but uncomfortable. You have to move before you're ready. You have to start scared. You have to take the step, even when your brain is screaming for certainty. Because waiting to feel motivated is just another form of resistance dressed up as logic. If you want to change your life, you can't rely on how you feel. You have to rely on what you discipline, not desire. Decisions, not emotions. You lead with action and let your mind catch up. Because if you sit around waiting to feel like it, you'll be waiting the rest of your life. When you take ownership of your life, everything changes not immediately on the outside, but instantly on the inside. It's a shift so powerful, most people never fully make it. Because it means you stop blaming, you stop pointing fingers. You stop waiting for someone else to fix it. And you start accepting that your life, your future, your results, they are yours. Fully. Completely. Ownership is not about fault. It's about power. You may not have caused the problem, but if it's in your life, it's your responsibility to deal with it. That's the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. Because when you blame, you hand over your power. You make yourself the victim of circumstance. But when you own it, your time, your habits, your attitude, you take the driver's seat. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It doesn't mean the path is easy. But it means you are done outsourcing your control. Done waiting for the boss to notice you. Done blaming your parents for what they didn't give you. Done waiting for perfect timing or someone to push you. When you take ownership, You become the kind of person who doesn't wait, you create. You don't hope things change, you make them change. You realize that your habits are your responsibility. Your mindset is your responsibility. The energy you bring into every room, every task, every conversation, it's all yours to own or to waste. And the minute you do that, the second you take full ownership, something clicks. You stop asking asterisk, why me? Asterisk, and start asking asterisk, what now? Asterisk. You stop drifting and start deciding. That's the line between the life you have and the life you want. And it's drawn the moment you take full, unapologetic ownership of everything that happens next. We tend to think massive change requires massive action, that you need to quit your job, move cities, write a 10-year plan, or overhaul your entire life overnight. That belief is the reason most people never even start, because the idea feels too big, too overwhelming, too far away from where they are now. But real change doesn't work like that. It's not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's not a viral moment. It's a quiet, often boring sequence of small decisions. It's choosing to get up when your alarm goes off. It's deciding not to scroll for an hour before bed. It's opening the laptop when you don't feel like it. It's saying no to distractions, saying yes to discomfort. These aren't the kinds of things that get applause. Nobody sees the moment you choose water instead of soda. Nobody celebrates the day you work out, even when you're tired. But those are the moments that build momentum. Those are the choices that stack. And here's the truth most people don't want to accept. Small, consistent actions, when done with intention, will outperform big, rare efforts every time. Showing up daily beats showing up dramatically. You're not going to transform your life in one leap. You're going to do it by making one small, courageous, intentional choice and then repeating that tomorrow and the next day and the next. That's how real progress is made. Your life isn't built in breakthroughs. It's built in patterns, in rhythms, in the moments when you could take the easy way out and don't. So stop waiting for the big moment. It already passed. This is the moment. The next step isn't huge, it's just forward. And if you keep choosing that direction, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one notices, those small decisions will shape your future more than any big one ever could. Your excuses make sense. They're logical. They're based on real things, your past, your pain, your responsibilities, your fear, and that's what makes them so dangerous. They sound true. They feel justified. They've protected you from discomfort, failure, judgment. But let's get something straight. Just because an excuse is valid doesn't mean it's useful. You can build your life around your excuses, or you can build your life around your goals, but you can't do both. Every excuse, no matter how true it feels, is a brick in the wall between you and the life you want. You say, I don't have time. Okay, but that time is still passing. You say, I'm not ready. You never will be. I'm too tired, too old, too inexperienced, maybe. But how long are you going to let that define you? Because what starts as an explanation quickly becomes an identity. And the more you repeat it, the more it becomes who you are, not just what you believe. The hardest truth to face is that your excuses are keeping you comfortable, not capable. They're protecting your current self at the expense of your future self. They let you stay safe, but they also keep you small. You don't need to feel ashamed of your excuses. You need to see them clearly. Because once you recognize them for what they are, fear in disguise, you can start making decisions from a place of power, not protection. You are allowed to have excuses. You're just not allowed to let them run your life anymore. The moment you stop arguing for your limitations, you make space for your potential. You make space to act, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally decided that your future matters more than your comfort. Most people live backwards when it comes to taking action. They wait to feel confident before speaking up. They wait to feel inspired before starting. They wait to feel energetic before moving. But that's not how human psychology works, not when it comes to growth, change, or discipline. Emotion doesn't lead action. Action leads emotion. Asterisk, asterisk. You don't feel ready and then you act, and then you start to feel ready. You don't wait until you believe in yourself before you take the leap. You take the leap and belief begins to grow from the fact that you did it. Think about the times in your life when you felt powerful, proud, energized. Those moments didn't start with a feeling, they started with a decision, a moment of discomfort, a push, a step, and that movement created emotional momentum. It generated confidence. That's why taking action is the trigger. It sends a signal to your brain that says, we're doing this. We're not waiting anymore. That signal changes your physiology, your focus, your self-talk. You start to feel capable because you moved, not before, you moved. Waiting to feel something before you act is a trap. You'll stay stuck. You'll talk yourself out of it. You'll keep planning, thinking, doubting, and the emotion you're hoping for never comes because you haven't given it anything to attach to. You don't need to feel brave to be brave. You don't need to feel motivated to begin. You don't need to feel confident to show up. You just need to move. Take the first small step. That's all it takes to shift your energy, rewire your focus, and change your internal state. If you keep waiting to feel differently before you act, you'll be stuck forever. But if you act first, especially when it's uncomfortable, everything inside you begins to shift. And that's when the real momentum starts. Clarity isn't something you find, it's something you create. Too many people sit around waiting for it, waiting for some magical moment when everything makes sense, when the path is obvious, when the fear is gone and the answer is clear. But that moment doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. You get clarity by taking action, not by sitting in your head, replaying the same thoughts over and over. You don't figure it all out first, and then you begin, and through that messy, uncertain movement, things start to become clear. Want to know what you're capable of? Start trying. Want to know what you really want? Pay attention to what lights you up while you're doing the work. You discover direction by walking, not by staring at the map. The truth is, clarity is built from data, and the only way to get data is to make decisions, try, fail, adjust, and keep going. You don't need a master plan before you start. You need momentum. You need curiosity. You need to test things in real life, not just in your imagination. People get stuck because they think the first step has to be the right one. It doesn't. It just has to be real. It has to move you out of thought and into action. Because as soon as you start, the fog begins to lift. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to see the next step. Enough to make the next decision. Stop overthinking. Stop trying to get it perfect. You will never think your way into a bold life. You will only build it by showing up, starting messy, and letting clarity meet you on the road. You are either living by default or living by design. There is no middle ground. Every day, you're either drifting through your routines, reacting to what happens around you, doing what you've always done, or you're being intentional, deliberate, and fully awake to the fact that your life is yours to shape. Living by default is easy. You wake up, check your phone, go to work, deal with whatever shows up, scroll, complain, repeat. You tell yourself you'll change when things calm down or when you figure it all out. But you never do because default mode is comfortable. It asks nothing of you except to stay the same. But default has a cost. It steals your time, your focus, your energy, and the worst part, it makes you forget you have a choice. You start to believe that how things are is just how they'll always be, that you're just not that type of person, that it's too late or too risky or too unrealistic. Living by design, on the other hand, is uncomfortable, but it's powerful. It means waking up and asking, what kind of life do I want to build? And then making decisions that align with that vision. Not with your fear, not with other people's opinions, not with yesterday's habits. It means choosing your habits on purpose, choosing your environment on purpose, choosing your boundaries, your goals, your direction on purpose. It's not about having everything figured out. It's about refusing to sleepwalk through your life. Design isn't perfect. It's not clean or easy, but it puts you back in control. It reminds you that every moment is a chance to steer the wheel instead of just being a passenger. And once you realize that, you can't unsee it. You either start designing your future or you keep defaulting to your past. The decision is yours and it's made every single day. So here's the truth. The next 5 years are going to pass no matter what. The question is, will they pass with you growing, building, becoming stronger, clearer, more fulfilled? Or will they pass while you wait, hesitate, and repeat the same cycles that have kept you small? This isn't about making one giant leap. It's about making one powerful decision. I will not live on autopilot anymore. I will show up. I will take ownership. I will stop waiting for perfect and start moving with purpose. Because the life you want, the one you keep dreaming about, talking about, postponing it, doesn't arrive by chance. It's built choice by choice, day by day, from the ground up. This one decision to stop waiting and start owning your future will shape everything. Your habits, your energy, your direction, your identity. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need to choose. And that choice, you make it right now.